Hey, in this video, we're going to use a config view in order to control a simulation and specifically to control a hierarchy. So I have another config view that I've created for a different simulation. This is a PA gain cell test bench. So here's our PA gain cell, and we're just basically going to be testing the DC on this one. Now, the difference is I have a PA gain cell that's been laid out. So I have a caliber view that's been extracted as well as a schematic. So I can right click under views to use and set cell view, and you'll notice a few different options. So for instance, I could use the caliber temp 25 view, which means a caliber extraction was done at 25 degrees Celsius, or I could use a schematic. If I force it to use a schematic, it'll be highlighted and it'll tell the hierarchy editor to use the schematic view when it netlists rather than the caliber view. So here I have my schematic open. Let's go ahead and launch ADE Explorer. I've already created a Maestro view for this particular cell. And we're doing some S parameter simulations and DC simulations. Now I can go in if I want and add some different corners to simulate as well. So for instance, what if I wanted to sweep the performance of this cell across, say, the gate voltage? I can go in and add a corner, and I can say sweep the gate voltage from, say, 0.4 and steps of 0.01 up to 0.6 volts, for instance. Now you'll see that it will be doing 21 simulations and doing that sweep from 0.4 to 0.6 with steps of 0.01. And click OK, and now I have a corner to simulate as well. And I can enable the corner and disable nominal. You can always run nominal if you like. Now, if I right-click under Tape Out Spring 2023, this is where the design selection is, and click on Design, you'll see that it's using the config view rather than the schematic view. And this means that when I click Run and it tells the circuit to netlist, it's going to netlist what's found in the config view and not what's found in the schematic view. I can go ahead and run the simulation. Oops, and you'll notice it just gave me a warning that said that I changed the config view, but I hadn't actually saved it. So I went to View, it'll say Update Needed. I can click Update there, and it will update the hierarchy, and click Save. And then it would, of course, run the simulation with the saved changes. So I believe that this first run is actually going to be using the caliber temp 25 netlist. Now, if I right mouse click and go to View Netlist, it will open the netlist, and I can tell exactly what was used in order to do the netlist. So it did use the config view, you can see. And if we go and look at the config, if we go and click on the netlist right here and look to see what was actually used, you can see that it did use the schematic view for the power amplifier for P-cell practice. If it used the extracted view, we would have had a lot more parasitics. All right, well, it went ahead and ran the simulation. We're not going to look at the results. Of course, I could just plot current or something along those lines, but we've shown you how to do those things before. Now, if I wanted to make a change to the netlist, so remember it used the schematic view. What if I wanted to use the caliber view? Here in the view list, it finds the caliber view before schematic, and that means it prioritizes it. So now if I went to view, update, it would update the view to use that caliber view. I could check and save, and I could run the simulation again. This version of Cadence is a little bit buggy, so sometimes I have to run this in the assembler view in order to get the simulation to run. We'll see if that works. This is a relatively simple schematic, so it shouldn't take too long. So if it stays pending for a while, it tells you that something's probably going on or going wrong in the background. All right, so I've just opened the netlist again, and just to take a look to show you that the netlist, in fact, after we changed to the caliber view, did change. And so now if we look at that P-cell practice, we can see not just the normal schematic components, but there will also be a lot of other components in the netlist, all these capacitors, which are parasitic capacitors that were extracted during the caliber extraction. We should also find some, these are cross-coupled capacitors, there will be some other capacitors, and then there will be some resistors in the netlist as well. And you can see that in general, the netlist is really quite a bit larger with that caliber view as one would expect. All right, so with that, I will stop there. So we now know how to make a config view and then to use the config view to change the hierarchy of the netlist so that we can have precision in determining whether we use a schematic view in our netlist or a caliber view in our netlist or maybe some other view like a Verilog view or a behavioral view. With that, we'll stop there until the next time.